And we're live for the very first podcast for Draft Maniacs. And of course, I am one of the co-hosts, Teddy Lopez.
And I'm Dwayne Wilton, and together we are the Draft Maniacs.
Of course, you can follow us at www.draftmaniacs, and that's our main website. We also have a Twitter account at Draft Maniacs, and you can like us on Facebook. You can just look for Draft Maniacs. we're there somewhere.
Yeah, we're there.
Do we have anything else? Any other social media that we're doing right now?
No, that's pretty much it. Other than this is kind of a new step for us. So we're hoping this gets out and a lot of people are listening to it.
Yeah, if you're listening to us right now and you're not us, then we're really, really happy right now.
Exactly, and not our moms either.
Yeah, or any of those people we make listen to it. So.
Right.
So if you're a new person that doesn't know us and you're listening, we're very happy to have you. And we'll be getting you through the first round of the NFL draft that's coming up this Thursday. We'll just give you go over our first round mock that you'll be able to see on the website, but we'll just kind of elaborate when we can. This gives us an opportunity to talk about some things we don't put on there, and as we go forward, we'll talk about some things that might not even be on the website.
Right.
So without further ado, we'll just go ahead and go through the first round. Let's see, the first pick would be the Indianapolis Colts, and who do you have them getting?
I've got them trading out of it. No, I don't. I've got Andrew Luck going here. I think they've probably done their due diligence and checked into RG3 and everything, but I think Luck's the way they have to go with that.
So they'll be going with the quarterback out of Stanford to replace Peyton Manning and probably be the quarterback there for the next 10, 12 years or something.
Replacing Peyton with Peyton Jr.
Yeah, he's probably the best quarterback to come out since Peyton Manning, at least.
Yeah. And if you've seen tape on this guy, I mean, it's just amazing how he can sit back in the shotgun and they're shifting 3 or 4 times and, he's calling all this stuff from the line. I mean, it really does kind of look like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it really does. All right, so the next pick would be the Washington Redskins, who traded up from 6 to get to number 2.
Right.
And looks like they will be going with Robert Griffin III.
Right.
Quarterback out of Baylor.
Right. And that guy is just... athletically, he's just amazing. He was a hurdler in high school, almost Olympic type, I think. Mm-hmm. The guy's just, he can move around so much, and he's just got a rocket arm, man. I mean, his downfield passing is just unbelievable.
And plus, he wears Superman socks, right?
Yeah, he wears all kinds of socks, man. He's got some crazy socks.
Well, yeah. So he's really fits into the Shanahan system of, bootlegs and just making plays outside of the pocket.
Right. And he's got to be better than Rex Grossman or John Beck, right?
Well, if there's something going on wrong with them, I guess. All right, next pick would be Minnesota, the third pick. And who do you have them getting?
I've got Matt Khalil. It's possible, with all this talk about Cleveland, wanting to get Tannehill, if somebody really wanted Tannehill, it's possible they could move up and get the 3 spot from Minnesota. But I just think they stay right where they're at, and they take Khalil, and he protects Christian Ponder's blind side.
The tackle out of USC, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, I also had them getting Matt Khalil. What about Cleveland with the next pick?
I've gone several ways with this. I mean, they could go quarterback. They could go for Justin Blackmon out of Oklahoma State, or the way I have it is Trent Richardson, who's the running back from Alabama. I just think the guy is just a tough inside runner, and I think as the year gets, as the weather starts getting bad towards the end of the year, and you've got snow and ice and high winds and all that, I just think that Richardson's a better fit for them, at that time of year.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about taking a running back that high in the top 5?
Well, it's a lot of money to pay for a guy who may only be there for 5 or 6 years, but I think Richardson's a different running back than what you normally see, and the guy can really do it all. He's a tough inside runner. He can bounce it outside. He can catch.
Yeah, he can play. He's a third down back and short yardage.
And that's the main thing at the 4th spot. You don't want to be paying a lot of money for a back that's going to be coming off the field on 3rd down, and Richardson won't be.
Well, they've been probably deciding between Morris Claiborne. I always say Claiborne. Claiborne and Trent Richardson for a while, but I think they probably will go Richardson.
I think they almost have to help that offense.
Next pick, Tampa Bay. Who do you have?
I've got Morris Claiborne, the cornerback out of Alabama.
LSU.
He is LSU, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, they played each other so much.
Yeah, they do. It's easy to get them confused. Anyway, the thought process here was that Rondé Barber is not getting any younger, and who knows when Aqib Talib's going to go to jail. So
might be new charges, right?
yeah, you never know with him. So I think if a running back were here, if Richardson fell to there, I think Greg Schiano, the new head coach, would like to have a running back, but I think Claiborne's probably the best help for him right now.
Especially since he covers, like, when the ball's in the air, he looks like a wide receiver the way
he does.
Just a real big ball hawk.
Yeah.
All right, next pick, St. Louis. The first 5 picks, a lot of the mock drafts have them going just like that. 1, 2,
exactly.
3, 4, 5. This is where things can switch up a little bit. In fact, this is where our mock draft gets a little bit different. Who do you have with St. Louis?
For St. Louis, I've got Justin Blackmon. Their starters right now at receiver are Danny Amendola and Brandon Gibson. And yeah, I think there's enough said there. Bradford needs a weapon, and Justin Blackmon's a big physical receiver, and he's just a big time threat in the red zone. So, and of course he is out of Oklahoma State, so he and Brandon Whedon had a pretty good connection going on there.
Yeah, he's a really talented wide receiver. I just think that where they are, and with Jeff Fisher, that the drop off to the wide receivers in the second round, although there is going to be a big drop off between Justin Blackmon and some of the other receivers, I just don't think it's as big as it would be with some of the defensive line players in the second round. So I think the Fletcher Cox, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State, is shooting up the boards, and I think this is where he goes, and I think he has probably the best motor in the entire draft.
Well, he's got to be a guy that Jeff Fisher would love. You'd love to have that.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart a little bit. I was actually hoping he'd fall down to 14. And
right.
I mean, can you believe how much he's shot up the...
Yeah, I mean, at one point, was he even in the first round?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't watch much Mississippi State football, do you?
I watched them a couple of times. They had a couple of really tough games against LSU and Alabama. And against LSU, if they'd have had a decent quarterback, they might have actually beaten them.
Yeah, that was a close game. With the next pick, we have Jacksonville. Who do you have?
I've got Quentin Coples, the defensive end out of North Carolina. And the main reason I had him here is that Aaron Campman's been injury prone, and they need somebody that can play on the left side of the defense. And Coples has played defensive tackle and defensive end both, so I think he would be a good left side 4-3 defensive end.
A lot of people kind of questioned his motor, how much he wants to play at different points in his career. But I think he's actually been pretty productive this whole time. I think he's been a guy that a lot of teams have had to focus on, and I think he really maybe there were some plays he took off or something, but he's definitely produced every single year.
Yeah, I think that's one thing you would have to look at with him. I think you'd have to be comfortable with his work ethic and that kind of stuff. I mean, North Carolina went through a pretty tough time with Butch Davis being fired even before the season started. So I think maybe that probably had a lot to do with it. And, they used him in a different way this year too. So, all of that could have just kind of spiraled out of control and possibly explained some of the issues he had.
Well, was it the East-West Shrine game or the Senior Bowl?
Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl, he absolutely dominated.
Yeah, he was dominating. So, if you feel comfortable with a guy and you think that you've got a guy that's going to work hard for you, I think that's a good pick there.
He's drawing a lot of comparisons to Julius Peppers, going to North Carolina and just having that kind of ability. I think they would be really happy to have that. I had them selecting Justin Blackmon, the wide receiver from Oklahoma State. I think you had him just the pick before, so
right.
I think that would be a good pick for Jacksonville to get another, if anything else, just to get another person up there that the kids would want to buy jerseys of and get some attention down in Jacksonville.
Well, if that were to happen, Jacksonville would have to be just jumping up and down, just going crazy. I mean, who's the last decent receiver they had? Jimmy Smith?
Jimmy Smith, probably. Yeah, so you're not too impressed by the signing of Laurent Robinson or anything?
Well, I mean, he had a good year last year, but I mean, what did he do before that?
He's been injured, and over in Dallas also, you had Jason Witten, Miles Austin, Des Bryant. So he's he's pretty going up against like the third, fourth corner.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
So having Justin Blackmon down there would definitely help both of them out.
Yeah, it would.
Let's go on to Miami. This is another spot where we differ a little bit. Where do you have?
Right. I had Tannehill going in both of my first 2 mock drafts, but this time I wanted to be a little bit different. Truthfully, I don't think Tannehill is a first-round draft pick, but a lot of people do. But I thought I would just go a little different here and go with Riley Reif at tackle here, the tackle from Iowa. They really need help at right tackle, so Reif wouldn't even really have to adjust or be able to play left tackle in the NFL. He could just step right in at the right tackle, and I think he could play there from day one.
This is such a quarterback hungry league now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never could have imagined watching some of his games that he would be talked about as a top 10 pick. It's
exactly. And it's a head scratcher too, because at a number 8 pick, you're paying so much